After a little break, the Trackmania Podcast is back, and if you think I had a new guest here, you're wrong. I go safe, I go stable, I go with a guy who has actually been on the podcast 3 times before, 2 times to talk about himself, and another time to preview the Trackmania World Championship in 2018. Riolu, it's 2020, it's time for the yearly podcast with you. How is life in 2020?
Oh boy, thanks for having me again for the fourth time. Has it actually been 3 times already?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's crazy. No, I'm great. 2020 has started pretty well, I would say. For those who have been following what I did, I think 2020 is off to a good start.
Obviously, the story of 2020 so far is the Trackmania Grand League, and that's why you have you here. It's just 6 days until the playoff phase in Lyon kicks off. How do you feel now heading into the playoff phase? It's been a while since we saw you at the offline phase. Are you starting to get nervous already, or how do you feel?
Honestly, now that it's getting closer and closer to the event, I'm feeling it a little bit. I'm excited for sure. It's a bit weird. A week ago or 2 weeks ago, when everything was settled with the qualification, I was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna happen, but I'm chill, I'm chill, I'm good. But now, 1 week before, I'm like, holy fuck, it's actually just a week. So today I'm sitting here on my chair, and I'm thinking, in a week, I'm in Lyon. I'm gonna play Trackmania. So that's pretty sick. I'm actually very excited. Of course, a bit nervous. I would lie if I said I wasn't nervous, because I am nervous. Because as you said, it's been a while since I played on stage. I mean, I did ESA, but that's a bit of a different thing. I think ESA, like doing the speedrun, and now actually playing competitively on stage in a week, that's a bit of a different thing. Can't really compare that. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really hyped for how everything is gonna go. Not only the tournament, but also the entire show, like Elias. I've never been there. I don't know how it's gonna go, like what kind of people are gonna be there and stuff like that. So the whole thing is what I'm excited for. Not only Grand League, not only the LES tournament, but everything. The whole package, meeting people as well, having fun, playing Uno, having some drinks. It's gonna be good.
I mean, you played in the last part of 2019. You played the Air France Cup, but before that, is it the ZrT 2016 that was your last like real big offline event?
Yeah, it was. I think. Wait, let me think. Should be ZrT. After that, it's only been smaller things, but not as big, like not stage type of stuff. So yeah, it was ZrT 2016.
But do you then feel like you have lack a bit of experience when it comes to the stage? Will it feel like you're almost entering the stage for the first time again, or how do you see yourself heading into that stage phase if you actually qualify to the stage?
Yeah, I think if you compare to how often the other players in the playoffs have already been on stage, yeah, I have a disadvantage because I've only been on a big stage once with ZRT. But I think looking at myself at how I've grown from 2016 to now, I think I am more self-aware, I'm more self-confident, so I think I can handle the stage. But you can say that easy now that you're at home, but when you're on the stage, it's going to be different. But I think I can handle it. It's going to be quite interesting, especially 5 minutes before it starts. Going to be, heartbeat going up. But yeah, I think I can handle it still, even though the others might have a bit of an easier task. But for everyone, like even if you have someone like Caro who played 1,000 times on stage already, even he's gonna be nervous. Everyone's human after all. Nobody's gonna be like full calm. That's not. I don't think that's happening. So, yeah, nervousness. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a thing for sure.
But if we talk about how you actually came to this playoff phase, you played a group stage, you played 6 steps there. I have to be honest, you are the positive surprise for me. I predicted you maybe to be around the 8th place battle for the playoff phase, but hey, you qualified, you got second in the group stage. Can you tell us, did you surprise yourself as well, or what?
Oh, hell yeah. I really did. I really did. When I heard about the Grand League, when I, got into the whole thing behind the scenes a few months back, I obviously had some expectations, and I knew that I could get to the playoffs. That was no doubt. But yeah, second place is like really far away from what I thought I could do. And in the beginning, it looked like yeah, second place or top 3 would be super far away, looking at all those big names that I played against. But it turned out that my playstyle in the Grand League and other people's mistakes as well, gotta add that too. A lot of good players have lost a lot of points, which benefited me as a result. But my playstyle really ended up being what was necessary to place good in the Grand League. And I realized that after step 2, in step 2, I got my first big step where I got 50 something points. And when I did that, I realized, okay, if I do exactly that every single time, it's going to be safe. And it wasn't difficult to do that. It sounds a bit weird, but it's not like I risked a lot. So I played it pretty safe in that second step, and it worked out. So I knew if I do that, if I keep the pace, keep the practice, it'll be fine. And at the end, it was. I got second place. I got 200 something point, 220, I don't know, which is a lot more than I thought I could get. And it was a surprise for, I think, everyone. Not only you, not only me, also Bergie, also Nordavind. We all were looking at me. Yes, he's going to get playoffs, but he's not going to get second place. Whoa, that ain't it, man. Second place, that will be for Carl, will be for Papu, Peck, Kappa, you name them. But yeah, I ended up being on second, so I think that gave me a really good motivation boost and a lot of confidence as well that I could keep up with the best players, at least in this specific format, in the endurance, in the champions mode, how they call it. Gave me a lot of confidence, and I think it helped me as well to keep my motivation up for the remaining steps, because the 6 steps, they were long. It's quote unquote only 6 weeks, but it's long. When you practice every day almost, when you play the maps every day, and you're surrounded with TMGL every day, it gets exhausting. I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm kind of happy now that it's slowly coming to an end. It's been 2 rough months of practicing and being in the competitive mindset, sort of. So I'm happy that that's done. But yeah, playing good in the playoffs, in the playoffs, I wish, in the group stage, in the group stage, it gave me a good boost, and I wanted to keep going and show what I can do and make sure that I get to the goal that everyone expected me to get, and I did it. So at the end, perfect. It couldn't have gotten any better, really.
But do you think that, you mentioned that this may be a format that suits you, but do you think that maybe you are one player that can adapt to formats as well, or do you just think that your skill set suits this format, or can you adapt to, like, now that you head into a cup mode, that you will also be a player that adapts to this format good?
I think I can adapt, yeah. I believe I'm someone who can adapt pretty fast to situations, not only Trackmania, but like real life stuff as well. So I think Cup mode will be something to adapt to for sure. But I've played Cup mode a lot in my career as well. Not necessarily in Stadium only, but also in other styles and environments. So I know how Cup mode works. I know how I have to play. So yeah, I think Cup mode will be a bit of a different thing, obviously. You have to maybe risk a bit more, go a bit faster than what you did in Endurance, because you need to get those 10 points. They are very, very important when you look at the point distribution. 10 points are really important. If you get last all the time, you're not going to get anywhere, even if you play consistent and make no mistakes. So you have to take some risks. I am well aware of that. But yeah, I think I can adapt. So I'm fully focused on performing in the playoffs.
I mentioned you as the positive surprise for me, at least, and I believe the community agrees with your performance there. How would you say that the 8 players that end up in the playoff phase, is there anyone you miss? Is there anyone you are surprised that actually goes to Leon? How would you sum up the group stage if you look at other players?
For me, it was a bit of a development that was stretched over those 6 steps. In the beginning, obviously, you look at the big names and you're going to say people like, yeah, Carl Jr., Tween, Kappa, Peck, Spam, yada yada, they're all going to make it because they're good players. But you saw the tendency very early that some players had a bit of trouble getting those points home because of their playstyle or because they just got unlucky or the maps didn't suit or whatever. There are a lot of reasons why some people haven't performed as well as they should have on paper. But that's another topic. I feel like, yeah, as I said, you really started to see after step 3, 4, you saw who was motivated and who wasn't. And the players who weren't motivated, they didn't make it. Or the players who didn't have the required playstyle, they didn't make it. because at step 5, step 6, you really had to bang it out if you really wanted to have a chance, and that puts a lot of pressure on yourself. So if you were a player who was safe in step 4, that was really good for your mentality as well, because you knew you could afford some mistakes as well. You're going to be safe. But the other players, they had to perform. So that adds a lot of extra pressure. So yeah, for me, it was obvious for some players that they're not going to make it after step 2 or 3, because they just didn't practice as much. They didn't put as much effort as they should have. So saying deserved is, maybe it sounds harsh, yeah, but in some way it is, because if you don't practice, if you don't put the time into competing, into practicing for the competition, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. And the players who have put less time into it, they didn't make it. So I think that's a logical consequence that they should learn from, and just try to improve for the combine, for example, which is going to be coming up in a week, or a week after the playoffs, so 2 weeks from now. They should learn from that and try to put themselves together, because everyone in the Grand League has the potential. Everyone in the Grand League is a great, great player. But what separates the players is the dedication and the practice, and that was visible in the results. You saw someone like Papu, for example. He was dedicated. He really put a lot of hours. He's a full-time player at GO, so he was pushed not only by himself but also by GO, and you saw the results. He got first, so that's the perfect example for me. Or when you look at me, look at Spam, for example. He was also dedicated a lot. At the end, it worked out for him. So in my opinion, that's what you need if you want to compete at the top level. You need the dedication, not only talent, not only skill, but you need dedication and time. If you don't bring that with you, you're not going to get very far.
But what would be the secret then to actually keeping up the dedication and keeping up the motivation? I mean, the 8 players we see you, we see Spam, we see Carl Jr., we see Tween, we see Kappa. These players that's put in a lot of time over a long time. So it's not like this is a new thing, and therefore they have motivation. What is the secret to keep motivation for such a long time? You play this game for 10 years, but still you're motivated, you still put in the hours.
That's a hard one, honestly, because I think that really varies from player to player. But I think most of the competitors in this game, or in other esport titles, or in any sport, in fact, they're all driven to show what they can do. They're all driven to, perform to their best, no matter in what circumstance. And I think that drives players like the players you just named. Everyone wanted to show that they can do it, and everyone enjoys the game. Everyone enjoys the competition. And I think that is one big motivation factor. You have to enjoy what you do. If you don't enjoy what you do, if you only do it, let's say, for the money, or only do it because you have to, because somebody forces you, or because the org tells you you have to do it, that's rough to deal with, because you're essentially forcing yourself to do something, and that often isn't good. Not only for Trackmania, but for everything. If you do something you don't like, you're just getting forced to it. It's not gonna be good at the end. So you have to like what you do, and if you have that, if you bring that with you, you're already on a good step forward. And that is definitely something that everyone should have. And then some other motivations, that depends on the player. For example, my motivation was to, make my fans happy, if that sounds cool. I don't know. But everyone was putting hope into me. They saw, oh my god, Riolu's in the Grand League. Now people have expectations, So I wanted to meet these expectations. I wanted to prove that I am in the Grand League for a reason. It's my first season and my first big competition in a long time. So I wanted to prove myself, not only for myself, for my own, but also for everyone who supported me, and for the people who got me into the Grand League in first place, with Bergie and Nordavind. So that was also motivation. I wanted to perform because people want me to perform, and I don't like to disappoint, and I think I didn't disappoint, so I think it worked. The motivation was good. The boost that I got through that was good. But yeah, I think every player needs to find the motivation on his own. Everyone motivates himself differently. But the basics, as I said, you need to enjoy what you do, and you need to have that competitive mindset. If you don't have that, it's not going to work.
At the end of 2019, it was the end of the decade. I did a lot of Twitter polls. I also brought up who is the player of the decade. It was obviously Carl Jr., but then a lot of people commented, if there is an overall skill level, then I would name riolu as the best player. Do you feel that maybe this is the opportunity to finally show that you are maybe as well one of the best competitive players? Now you have the chance to battle against Carl Jr., Kappa, Tween, and the likes of other big names that has always been there. This is your perfect chance, and therefore you have this maybe a new motivation coming into this.
It is for sure. Yeah, I'm a good overall player. I agree. And I haven't really done a lot in Stadium. I of course played a lot of Dirt. I played this one or other cup, but I didn't play a lot of Stadium because it was tech, and tech is just not something that I enjoy very much. I still don't. I got better at it undoubtedly, but I still don't like it very much. So now that the style went from tech to mixed for the big competition, that really is something that I support. I like that for many, many reasons. Not only because I like to drive it more, but also because I think Trackmania needs a change in terms of map style. But yeah, I think this is a chance to prove myself that I can also compete in Stadium. And it looks like I can, for the most part at least, when it comes to maps like these. So yeah, I think 2020, with this start, with this type of movement, with the maps, with the formats and everything, I will try to keep going and try to improve even further. I noticed for myself that I got a lot better in Stadium. I started playing more Stadium, I don't know, like 18, 19. I played a lot of Stadium, also just casual, not only for like smaller competitions, but also casually. And I noticed that I got a lot better. I got a lot more confidence in my driving in Stadium. And especially with the Grand League pushing me to play Stadium every day, I noticed another boost in skill. And I think if I keep going, I can maybe be one at the top, but it will take some time. I will definitely not be someone who can contest anyone in tech at the moment, but if I keep going, maybe I can do it. Gotta hope.
But if you overall view Trackmania Grand League, would you say that you need a good placement in the playoff to be happy, or is it almost like you have qualified for playoff and now the rest is a bonus?
Of course, reaching the playoffs was the big goal, as I said earlier. Together with Nordavind, we looked for a player who wanted or who could get into the playoffs. That was their goal. They wanted to be in the playoffs, and we are. So the first big goal has been achieved. The most important goal, in fact, has been achieved. So that's good. But now that I'm there, I want to, get as far as possible because I'm a competitive man. I'm a competitive person, and I want to get the results in. So the better the position is at the end, the better. I will definitely try to do as best as possible and maybe even get to the grand final. That would be the ultimate amazing goal, to get into the grand finals, actually. I'm not saying it's impossible. I think there are chances for me to get there, but it will be extremely difficult. It will really depend on the daily form of everyone, like how everyone feels and what maps are going to be played. And there are so many factors. It's insane. But I think the possibility is there, even though it's maybe not the biggest. I think other players have bigger chances to get to the grand finals than me. I think everyone is aware of that. But I will try to get as far as I can, and hopefully it will work out. But being in the playoffs is already amazing. But yeah, ideally, maybe not get last. That would be a bit, not so good. But yeah, getting somewhere near the top, I'm really hyped for that, and I hope I can get it.
In the beta season, you casted a whole season. You also casted playoff. So I ask you, if you put your caster glasses on, how would you say that this playoff is gonna play out? How would you say that semifinal 1 is gonna play out, semifinal 2, and eventually who will win this playoff?
Oof, I haven't really thought about that, but I think on paper semifinal 1 looks extreme. That's mad. Semifinal 1 is mad when you look at it at paper, on paper at least. But I think looking at how the players in semifinal 2 performed, I think that one is going to be of equal quality for sure, because it's different maps, and semifinal 1 looks strong because you have those players who were good at tech, and they proved themselves in the Grand League beta season already. But I think the players in season in semifinal 2, they can also put up a really good show. So if I were a caster, I would be very hyped for both. I wouldn't say I would prefer any of those. both I would treat equally, in my opinion. But yeah, who's gonna take it in the end as a caster? I have no idea. I have no idea, honestly. Obviously, you have someone like Carl who is gonna put a lot of time. He's an insane driver. What I saw from him in the last days, it's yeah. He's good for sure. He's quite fast. Yeah, let's put it that way. But you also have other players there. Everyone is putting a lot of time. I think it's going to be amazing, and I wouldn't be able to pinpoint anyone who could win because I think a lot of people can win this time. I think it's actually also due to the maps. The maps are so different from each other from time to time. So I think depending on the maps that are going to be played in each match, you might see a very unexpected outcome. So we're gonna see. It's gonna be oof. I like it.
But do you think that you said that the maps is gonna probably maybe decide almost the result there is gonna vary a lot? Do you think that you see some opponent that you favor maybe beating because you are way better than them on other maps? So if you ban their favorite map, then you have a big chance. And equally, do you see maybe someone that is good on the same maps as you and maybe you don't want to face? Have you thought about that?
It's something you have to think about because you need to plan out your strategy a bit as well. You have to think about what map do I pick, what map do I ban, looking at the players that you will face or that you might face, looking at the bracket. Like you need to study the bracket and maybe use a bit of quick math to see who could make it, who could I face, and who do I ban what map against. Because there's also this rule that you only ban one map. You're only allowed to ban one map once. So I think it was the same in the beta season. You could only ban one map once, so you have to ban different maps in every match and also pick different maps in every match. So you need to make that decision based on who you face, obviously. So yeah, you need to look at your opponents and maybe be strategical, but it's going to be difficult for sure. And you maybe need to go with your gut feeling as well a bit. Like, depending on how you feel that day. If you feel very confident on, let's say, rock or roll on that day, then you should pick rock or roll. But if you don't, then maybe you shouldn't. Yeah. So it will really depend on how you feel. But yeah, all I'm saying is you need to look at your opponents, and the map choice will be very decisive, very decisive for sure. And I think that's why it's implemented in first place, because it's supposed to generate some suspense for the viewers as well, to see, oh wow, which map is going to be picked, who is going to pick what. This is exciting for the viewer as well, but so is it for the player. Because imagine yourself as a player, you're sitting there on stage, you already have a heartbeat of 250, and then somebody bans your map that you really like, and you're like, no, damn it, stuff like that. So it's going to be exciting. But you need to be, as a player, you need to be prepared for every map. You shouldn't go strict with the plan that you have, because it's most likely not going to work. Because if it happens, what I just said, if someone bans your map all of a sudden and your plan falls apart, your mentality might be broken for the entire match. So you need to be good on every map. You need to practice every map. You need to be aware of every possible situation that might come across. And I think that will be a big boost or a big advantage also, if you don't only focus on the maps that you're good on and screw the rest. That's not how you win the Grand League. That's not how you're gonna win anything. You need to be good on everything. So that's what I'm gonna do. At least I'm gonna try to be competitive on everything, and no matter what people do against me or what I do against others, I will be prepared. So let's see.
I did a Twitter poll, I believe it was yesterday, asking about who people saw as a favorite in each semifinal. Carl Jr. as a favorite in semifinal 1, and you are the people's favorite in semifinal 2.
Wait, really?
Yeah, by 38%
oh my God.
after 250 votes. So do you get that feeling in your streams as well, that maybe your chat expects you to do well? Or what is the feeling that you get from maybe your fans and supporters? What do they expect from you think?
I mean, the fans, they always support you, right? No matter what situation you're in. If you have loyal fans, they're always going to stand by your side. So I do appreciate that. Everyone who voted for me, I love you. But you have to look at it from a more objective standpoint as well. You need to look at how well the other players are in the semifinal 2. You have Scrappy, who is a player who is extremely fast. like extremely disgustingly fast. But the thing about Scrappy that a lot of people say, he's inconsistent and he might tilt. Then you have Aurel, who is, I think, a very similar player like me. I think, at least. He's a very consistent player. Maybe not the fastest, but he is very, very confident in his driving. And he knows the game inside out. So between Aurel and me could be interesting. And then you have Spam, who is, I think, also a bit similar, but he's faster than both of us. So it is interesting that we have these players of a very different playstyle. But at the end of the day, it could be anyone in that semifinal, also in semifinal 1. But yeah, I think, how do I put it? I myself don't see win against someone like Scrappy, but I don't know. You gotta be realistic, and I like that people cheer for me, but you also have to look at the strengths from the other players. So I don't know. I'm flattered that people trust in me so much that I could beat Scrappy, Aurel, and Spam. But yeah, I don't know. It's like could go either way.
But you spoke about that Nordavind hired you or recruited you to make the playoff. Have you talked to them after reaching the playoff, and what do they expect from you now? Do they have like a vision of maybe a grand final, just do the best as you can? Do they have any goals for you?
I've talked to them only shortly, and they were extremely happy with the result that I got in the group stage. So they were really delighted to see me at second place because, as I said earlier, they didn't expect that either. None of us did. But I did show the pace, and I did show the tendency that I could do it, because it looked good for me after like 4 steps already. I was pretty safe after step 4 already, it felt like. So they were very, very happy. We didn't really talk about any expectations for the playoffs. Maybe it's actually good, because it puts less pressure on me. But I know that they will like me to be in the grand final. Obviously, they would like to see their player prevail at the end. That's obvious. So I low-key know they want me to do well, but they didn't tell me. Like, we haven't really talked about the playoffs. So, I will try to make them happy, but I think I did my big part already by making it to the playoffs.
And talking about Nordavind, you also have a coach now. His name is Bergie. It's 10 years since he became the world champion in Trackmania. Have you gotten any advice from him? Or maybe first, can you clarify what is his role? How was his role during the group stage? How do you guys work together?
We have a pretty relaxed relationship when it comes to this coaching thing. Some people might imagine, coaching, it's going to be with a training schedule, and you have to do this and this and this, and you have to practice like this and this and this the way I tell you. That's not how it is. It might be like this for, I don't know, other orgs and other games who also live in some sort of gaming house or whatever. But we have a very, very calm, very relaxed relationship when it comes to things like this. So the only thing that we did is just talk briefly before each step, talk how you feel, what's your plan, just some short talk without any obligation, without too much pressure. And he also gave me some mental advice. Also after step 5, which was my worst step, where I felt really ass that I played bad, he gave me some very good advice, some nice words, which helped me a lot to restore for step 6, which worked very well. Step 6 then was my best one. So Bergie, with the wise words, he helped me a lot. And that's pretty much all we do. We just talk, communicate, talk how it goes, how's the practice, how's this, how's that. But that's pretty much about it. And it's also the same for the playoffs. We will come together, talk about tactics for sure, and talk about pick and ban, because there will be some strategies, I think, for every player. But that's all there is, actually. That's all there is. We're not doing too much try hard this, try hard that. It's, I don't know, not necessary, because Bergie also said that I know what I do, and I agree. I know what I do. I know how I have to practice, and I know how much time I need to put in every map if I want to compete. Because I'm around for 12 years now in Trackmania. I know what I'm doing. So he knows that, and I think that's also a reason why he picked me, because I think I'm experienced and professional enough to treat this properly, and I think I did that well for the group stage. So yeah, we're gonna keep that up for sure. And this mentality, I think, is healthy enough to keep going also for season 2, season 3, whatever is gonna come up for the future. We're a good team for sure. I like that very much.
Of course, let's rewind the clock a bit and talk about how you got into the Trackmania Grand League. We now have the orgs picking the players. When did you first find out about that, the potential of maybe you coming in as a player in the Trackmania Grand League season 1?
It actually started pretty much before the finals of the beta season already. That was when Softy came up to me. He was like, "Yo, Riolu, what's your plan? What's your plan? Do you want to cast or do you want to play?" So we had a call, we had a nice conversation, and I told him, "I want to play, dude. I like casting, and I think I said the same in the previous podcast that we had. I like casting a lot, but I miss playing, and I think this is a good opportunity for me to prove myself." I told him everything that I had on my heart in that moment, and it convinced him. So he tried his best to get me into an org, and it worked. So that's basically how I got into the Grand League. Then a few months before the Grand League was announced publicly, I was already in contact with a few orgs, and then I ended up with Nordavind, with Bergie, and we sealed the deal. So that's pretty much how it worked. Basically convinced Softy to get me in because he knew that I could play. He had his list of players that he wanted in the Grand League, and I was at the top of that list. He told me that, and it fit. He wanted me in. I wanted to be in. I'm in. So that's how it worked at the end.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm obviously happy for you because I know how good of a player you are. But obviously, the last time we spoke, I mentioned that you are the voice of Trackmania. You are the caster. We are the
Yeah.
for this. Do you sometimes miss maybe being a caster and, I don't know, split yourself in two so you can also cast yourself? Because obviously we've seen a lot of casters now, we have a lot of streams, but I still feel like there is at least one level, if not two, up to you. So do you miss casting, and is there potential of you coming back as a caster as well?
Honestly, I don't.
Oh, man. End
Honestly,
the podcast here, bye-bye.
and that's it for the podcast.
But can you clarify to people, why do you see it why then? Because you obviously have success, you obviously have the feedback of the people, you won the Trackmania Awards more clear than anyone with Caster of the Year. Why did you decide to feel like, okay, casting is maybe not the way to go, I want to prove myself as a player?
It has many reasons. Casting was fun. I will not lie about that. Casting, I really enjoyed the journey that I had. 2018, 2019, I casted every big competition. It was a lot of fun. People wrote so many good things about my casts, and that really kept me going. It really made me want to improve even more, improve my casting, get even better, get the word out, and maybe show Trackmania to more people as well, which in the end actually worked. My Grand League casts, they were picked up by a lot of people. You had a couple of casts that were like, they had 70,000 views on YouTube or something. So a lot of people have seen my casts, and nobody was like, wow, you're shit. But everyone was like, wow, you're a good caster, and this game looks great. I'm going to buy Trackmania. You know? So I think I did my part of bringing Trackmania to more people. But that's not the main reason why I quit. The main reason why I quit is because I just wanted to play again. I really missed it, and I liked the competition. So I wanted to prove myself again, since it's been a long time since I played, and I got better as a player. So I just wanted to play. I wanted to try it again. And the casting thing, it got repetitive also to some extent, because it was always the same. I'm not sure if that's really understandable, but every cast at the end of the day is the same. Because it starts with the match goes on, you talk a bit after the match, and that's it. So it's the same thing. And I found myself to, I don't know, I peaked maybe in my cast. I found like I'm not going to improve anymore. I'm at my peak with the Grand League cast from the beta season. So I thought, hey, maybe I'm going to end it on a good note and start playing again, do some casts like every now and then. I did the Full Speed League, for example, so I still like casting, but I don't miss it enough to be like, okay, I'm going to stop playing competitively and go back to casting. That's, in my opinion, also not worth it at the moment. Also for myself as a person. With casting, I don't get far enough. I noticed that. It's fun and games, But by playing competitively, I think I can make more out of what I do with the riolu brand, as to say it like this. So I thought going competitive is the way to go, and no regrets for sure. No regrets at all. It's something that I wanted to do, and it works out so far. I will keep going. Casting will be more of a side thing now, and that's it pretty much, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good thing that you have another talent is gaming. So even though you picked something that you were extraordinarily good at, you're like second in the Trackmania Grand League. So it's not like you picked a bad thing to do instead, right?
Yeah, exactly. So no regrets at all, as I said.
But if you then view the Trackmania castings landscape, how would you sum it up? Do you feel like there is someone that sticks out now that is maybe the replacement for you as the main voice in Trackmania?
For sure. We have a lot of talents, and I knew that all along. When I was at the, let's say, top of the casting pyramid, I knew that there were a lot of other people who had what it takes to be a good caster, and now I'm happy that they can finally show what they have. One name that sticks out a lot is G-Geek, in my opinion. He has a really good caster voice. I really like it. He has the perfect radio type of voice. People say that to me as well, but I think his voice is even better. It's a really nice voice, so I really like his casting. I watched his casts before pretty much anyone knew about him. He did Smurfs Cup's cast, so not really appealing to a lot of people because it was Canyon. So Canyon obviously not with the biggest player base. So he did that, but he was really good at it. And he also did the, what was it, Canyon Endurance Premiership or something from Smurf.net in 2019, which I played. And I always rewatched his casts because they were really good. He puts a lot of preparation into his cast as well. He always prepares overlays and statistics and everything. That's something that not even I did. So I really respect that. Really respect that for putting that effort. And I think he has a lot of potential. So I hope he gets some more exposure. I feel like he doesn't get enough exposure. So if you're listening, check out G-Geek. He's a good guy. But yeah, of course, also shoutouts to, for example, you and Scotsman. Your cast is very good to listen to too. And Virtual, my man. I think everyone in the caster's couch for the TMGL is doing a great job. But in my opinion, G-Geek really stands out the most, in my opinion.
Yeah, and not to mention that he's also fluent in French. He's a French-born guy, so imagine that
True.
being that fluent in English, and hey, you're from France as well, so that's something
Exactly.
I would love to have, like understanding French and speaking French.
Yeah, it's actually funny. When I listened to his cast for the first time, I thought he's American.
Yeah.
I really thought he's American, and then I looked
100%.
through. I talked to him, or not sure if I talked to him right after, but I found out that he's French. I was like, oh, bonjour, very nice. All right, that's cool. But I think he hears that very often. I think
Yeah.
he's well aware of that. Because I sometimes get the same, but I think his accent is a bit better than mine. But yeah, it's fantastic. Really big respect for that guy, definitely.
But then speaking about casting, something that was changed from the beta season until now, the season 1, is that each org has its own cast, and you have Virtual, like you mentioned, the most popular English cast out there. But let me ask you, how do you think the format of casting works out? Do you miss maybe having just one official cast where the whole community can gather? Or do you think that it's good to have like a separate channel for each player so you can have this chat backing up mainly one player?
Yeah, that's a question I thought about for a long time, but I didn't really come to a consensus. My opinion is very split when it comes to this. On the one hand, having many casts gives players gives viewers the freedom to pick the cast that they like the most. So that's good. You have a lot of choice, which is always nice to have. Choice is good. Yeah? But on the other hand, I feel like having not one centralized place is a bit counterproductive too. And it still shows a bit. You have the tendency to virtual stream at the moment, and the other casts, despite doing a good job, they don't get as much exposure. So that's something that I feel like is a bit of a problem, and might not justify the decision to let so many people cast, because at the end, almost everyone is in the same stream after all. So I'm very torn apart. I like that people can cast and that you have the choice, because everyone has different preferences, right? player, let's say you might like this cast, but I like the other one because of this and this reason, for example. So everyone has the preferences, and it's good to have the choice. But looking at it from a different standpoint, maybe from a number standpoint, which is very important for Nadeo, actually. They really want the numbers for the Grand League, which is why they did this in first place. They want the numbers. They want the orgs to pull the numbers. I don't know. It might make more sense to have just one centralized stream and just funnel everyone into that one. And that maybe portrays the numbers a bit better, you know? Because then you have one stream which has, let's say, 2,000 viewers for an English cast. And then you have a French cast with 10K. And there you have the numbers, clear. 10K plus 2K, 12K. You have the numbers. But now you have 14 casts, and you don't know exactly what's going on. Who is watching what, and where's the tendency? Who is good, who is bad? You know, it's a bit hard to monitor that, in my opinion. So that's a con for the multiple casts. But then again, I don't know. If I wouldn't want to make that decision. I don't want to be in Softy's shoes or whoever shoes for making this decision. I wouldn't want to make it because there are pros and cons, and they kind of outweigh each other. So I don't know, man. I can't follow a decision at this point. It's just too difficult.
But do you think that, or did you think that the impact of, let's say, Velos and Pittsburgh coming in would be bigger? Because if you look at the casting numbers they achieve, it's pretty barely making double digits, while you have the community streams with virtual and spam bringing in the big numbers. Do you think the impact would actually be bigger, or do you think that those players who get the information up from Velos and Pittsburgh also tune into virtual, or why don't we see the big numbers coming from them?
I feel like the influence that these new orgs bring comes more through social media than the streams. If I look at, let's say, the sick memes that they post on Pittsburgh Knights Twitter, that's what people want. Yeah? I don't think a cast is what people want. They just want memes. They want the coverage on social media. I think that's what people already want. Because not everyone has the time. Let's say you have a casual Pittsburgh Knight fan who is watching Rocket League or something normally. He maybe doesn't want to look, or he doesn't want to watch a Trackmania cast for 1.5 hours about a game that he doesn't know. But he wants to know how his favorite team does, so he just checks social media instead. So I think maybe the emphasis on social media might be better than the emphasis on casts. Of course, having casts, as I said, is good. And for the people who are interested, it's nice to have. But it's not a lot of people. You pointed that out. It's not a lot of people who watch, let's say, Veloce or Pittsburgh Knights, which is sad, because I think they do a great job. But yeah, maybe you want to put the resources elsewhere and bring Trackmania to the public using social media, or specifically using memes. Because that shit sells. I'm telling you, it sells. Look at it, man. Look at the numbers. Let me quickly look up the meme from Pittsburgh Knights that they have with the. Did you see it with the real life racing thingy? And they put the logos on it. Yeah, that got so many views, man. So this is exactly what people want, and that makes the whole org more sympathetic. It makes the org more. How did you say, more? I don't know. Brings it closer to the viewer.
Yeah.
Closer to a normal person, and I think that's just better to have. I see it. Yeah, 7.5K views for a meme like this. I mean, they don't get 7.5K views with a cast. So memes are the future. You heard it here first. that's how it is. Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it from the numbers, and the numbers are pretty clear in this case.
Yeah, but imagine that they use those memes. They have the big following on social media, and then instead of promoting their own channel, they can maybe support or promote official cast. So those who can tune into the official cast, and like you said, then you have the numbers clear, French plus English, and maybe German as well, because you have some German players out there.
Exactly. The thing is with the official cast, it's being done for most other games. When I look at Rocket League, you have one official stream, Twitch TV/Rocket League. So we could also have the same for Twitch TV/Trackmania. Trackmania EN, Trackmania FR for the languages or whatever. That could work. But yeah, I think Nadeo has a bit of a different vision on that. They want to maybe emphasize on this club thingy that everyone wants to come together in their, with their favorite team or with their favorite player and just chill and cheer for the favorite player instead of having one big stream. I heard that's kind of what they want, but yeah, I'm not so sold on that, but gotta just take it how it is. It's not a biggie, but it could be handled in a different way, in my opinion. But yeah.
We have Lyon coming up, and it's not only the Trackmania Grand League that takes place there. We also have one of the bigger tournaments in the year for the whole community, the Lyon Esport Tournament. 64 players showing up. Are you going to play it, and if so, how much time have you put into those maps and training those maps?
Yeah, so Elias, for those who maybe don't know, if you're listening to the podcast, they're basically hosting another Trackmania competition next to the Trackmania Grand League playoffs. So the playoffs are on Friday, and the separate tournament is on Saturday, and I think on Sunday. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on Sunday. Okay, so it's spread over 2 days on mainly tech maps with a bit of dirt. So they're kind of mixed, but still very technical. And basically, everyone who got into the Grand League playoffs has also a guaranteed slot in that separate tournament. So first, I was like, that's tech. I'm bad. I'm not playing. That's basically the decision I made. It's tech. No, I'm out. I'm not playing that. And I was pretty strict with that decision until I got convinced by no one other than Carl Jr. He was like, yo, just play for fun. That's all he said. And I was like, wait, he has a point. he actually has a point. So I was like, okay, I'm going to play for fun. I talked to Bergie. He was like, yes, you should also play because it gathers experience. It helps to actually build up experience. And that's a very valid point, actually. So, yeah, I decided after having talked to these two beautiful people, we'll play LES. And I started practicing pretty much right after that. There are 7 maps that vary between tech and dirt from difficulty to difficulty. There are some very, very hard maps, some easier ones. And it took me some time to learn them because, as I said, tech is not my greatest style. It takes some time for me to get good at it. But I put some time into the maps now, and I feel okay on it. I'm not competing with the top times. I'm within 1 second to the world record on every map, but it's not at the top. But I think maybe if I play consistent and maybe if I get Zerator in my first match, I'm maybe gonna get far. I don't know, but nah. I think I'll just take it easy. I will not have too many expectations from it. I'll play it just to have fun. Like Carl said, I'm gonna play it for experience, as Bergie said, and yeah, just play a bit of Trackmania and see where it gets me. So expectations are not very high. I think I can get to top 16 maybe. That'll be cool. But yeah, I will not put too much effort into that. I'm just gonna be playing the maps so I know where to go, so I don't get lost, so I have enough consistency. But the main focus will be TMGL because that's what we're here for at the end of the day. TMGL is why we're in Lyon, not the LES. So top priority is LES. Yes, TMGL, sorry. Top priority is TMGL, and LES is a little side thing just for fun.
So you don't think training those maps can hurt your performance in the Trackmania Grand League?
Not much, I think. I think I can handle playing both map packs because if you look at it, we know the TMGL maps. We've played them for 6 weeks. We know the maps. So pretty much all I do right now is just that I play the maps, maybe learn some risky strats, and keep the muscle memory hot so I know, how the map feels. I need to keep the feel of the map. So that's all I do for TMGL. I don't play the TMGL maps 5 hours a day anymore. I don't think anyone does that. That's just not necessary at this point, I believe. So I think I can handle playing both map packs. I can even handle playing Trackmania Wii at the moment. So hey, that's good. But yeah, I think it's fine. I'll just keep going. I am currently just alternating 1 day Grand League, 1 day LES, and should be fine, I think.
So let's bring up the tournament you last played in. If we talk about international tournaments, that was the Air France Cup. I call it the disappointment of 2019, but I was not on the plane. I didn't play the tournament. How would you sum up the Air France Cup, and how did it live up to your expectations?
Yeah, we didn't get to talk about that, did we?
Nope.
Yeah, it's been some time though, but I can quickly sum it up. So yeah, Air France, everyone had a lot of expectations from it. Everyone was like, wow, Trackmania in an airplane, the first esport tournament in a plane. Holy crap, that's insane. Everyone was hyped for it. And you saw so many people actually played the qualifier, and a lot of people practiced hard to get in there. I got in there. Great. I was really hyped up. But yeah, you never know. It's a new technology. I was, yeah, not exactly sure if it's gonna work. They told us it's gonna work, but you never know what's gonna happen because a new technology can always backfire a little bit and things can go wrong and something, isn't gonna work. So there's always the possibility that something is not gonna work. And this possibility actually happened. So we ended up having massive trouble with the tablets we played on. We weren't able to establish a connection to the local server that we're supposed to play on. So the original format was, I think, cup mode or something. I don't remember what it was. It was some weird format actually, but we were supposed to play on a local server, which was actually done using this Li-Fi technology that they, talked about big in the plane. Where they were like, yeah, Li-Fi, that's what we're doing this for, yada yada. But it ended up not working, I think, for some reason. So we couldn't play on the local server, which meant they had to do the backup plan, time attack, 5 minutes on every map. Cool. Which wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. I mean, time attack, okay, is not what we originally came for, but at least we could play. That's what we thought. So we started playing. Frames were at, I don't know, negative 15 FPS, it felt like. Input lag was terrible. We couldn't play. It was unplayable, basically. Some textures were really fucked up. For example, my car skin was upside down. So instead of riolu on the number plate, it said Ulrior. Yeah, it was upside down. So I was like, okay, this is broken, sir. And John the Killer, who was on the plane together with the other organizers, they were like, yeah, we can't do anything. We're on the plane. We're in the air already. So yeah, obviously, they can't do much. It's not their fault. It was probably just the tablet being wrongly configured. I don't know, but we couldn't really play. It was very bad, and some tablets were different from others as well. Some tablets ran smoother than others, which was very interesting. So at the end of the day, we did manage to play these 5 minutes on every map, but it wasn't very enjoyable. So the times ranged from 50 seconds for the winning time to 1 minute 10 for the last player. PB, that is. So the best player counted after the best time counted after those 5 minutes. So the best player had 50 seconds. The worst player, who had the worst tablet, had 1 minute 10 because he kept hitting walls. Yeah, because of the input lag, or it was just not playable. It was not very enjoyable. And yeah, at the end, Coco won because he had the best tablet. But we found out the cause of the we found the problem at the end. Shortly before we landed, I think Wingo Bear came up. He was there to, I think, cast the competition. He was there on the plane, and he found out, yo, guys, I found the problem. The resolution of the tablets was put to like 4K or something. The resolution was incredibly high. You gotta imagine the tablet was small. It was a 15-inch tablet, I think. So yeah, it didn't support 4K resolution, obviously. It was I think 1080p tablet. So you can imagine the tablet was not designed to push 4K images in the game. So that's why it lagged. So we put down the resolution in the game, and Mania Planet put it down to 1080p. It worked. 60 FPS, flawless gameplay, easy peasy, we could play. But we landed already. So yeah, we at the end of the day, we couldn't play. So, or we couldn't do it again. So yeah, that's how it was. Air France Cup in a nutshell. It didn't work. It was still fun though. We had a fun experience. We had a fun time with the boys. But yeah, we came for Air France. We came for Trackmania, and we stayed for Massa's 24 Red Bull cans. So was actually a funny story. Massa got sent a 24 can package from Red Bull. They sent it straight to the hotel, to get the exposure. Red Bull on the plane. Gotta take some pictures. So they sent him 24 cans of Red Bull, and we opened it up, and we were 4 people. We were who was it? Afi, Dunster, Massa, and me. We were there in the hotel room, and we were overwhelmed by the 24 Red Bull cans. So we were like, what the fuck are we going to do with these? Everyone maybe had one can, but you can't drink 24 cans in one day. You're going to die.
Or
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. Nah, but yeah, it was basically a meme. We just laughed about it for 10 minutes, and yeah, that's basically the story behind the Red Bull cans. So we had a good time. We had a nice dinner. We had some drinks, but yeah, the Trackmania thing didn't really work out as planned. Too bad.
Yeah, I mean, we can laugh about how the tournament played out, but do you feel that maybe? I mean, I personally feel a bit sad because I saw this as a perfect opportunity to get the name out there, to get the game out there. Imagine if this mainstream media picked it up, that it was a successful esport tournament. Do you think that that would have helped Trackmania, or how do you see it? That maybe this was a failed opportunity to actually get exposure that we barely get in the game, at least international exposure.
Yeah, it really was. I'm also very sad about it. They really missed this opportunity of bringing Trackmania to a broad audience using this opportunity, because it is a big thing if it worked. Yeah, it is something that could revolutionize the not only gaming but li-fi in general. Is a great technology and it could really revolutionize it. But at the end, it sadly didn't work. So it was a missed opportunity, and I think that's why it was hyped up in first place. People saw Air France, big company, nice idea, revolutionary idea, in fact. So everyone was hyped up. I remember all the social media on Twitter, like your posts or other people posted so many things about Air France. Everybody was interested. So the interest was there, and it was not only in the Trackmania community, but I think the interest would have been there outside too, if it worked. So that's the big if. So yeah, that's definitely sad that it didn't work, because I think if it worked, I like this if in this conversation. The if is very big with the Air France Cup. If it worked, then a lot of potential sponsors, or I don't know, any type of thing could have happened. You never know. We didn't even see this coming. Nobody thought that Trackmania is going to be on a plane. So who knows what could have come up after? You never know, and we will never find out. That's sad.
But talking about the event that gives exposure, but maybe not international exposure at the moment, is the ZrT Cup, and we'll have the biggest edition in 2020. People are telling me that you are planning to play it. Is that confirmed? Are you actually playing the ZrT Cup this year?
It is confirmed, yeah, definitely. I made up my mind about the Zerator thing, and I think I should play it for some reasons. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it, because I think it's going to be fun. I think I improved over last time when it comes to how I play. I played in 2016, got to the semifinals, so I think I can do even better this year. Depending on the format, though, we don't know anything about the format yet. I'm hoping that it's going to be solo. Not really a duo fan. I think I do perform better on my own without having to rely on anyone else. So I'm hoping that it's going to be solo. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. I made up my mind also about the entire Zerator thing. Looking back, I was maybe a bit too butthurt. Like, I'm going to be honest. So I made up my mind. I think I grew as a person to just look at it with a grain of salt and just forget about it and just play the game, enjoy the opportunity maybe as well that I could get if I qualify for the big stage, which is going to be in, I don't know, the second biggest venue in Europe or whatever it was, like some massive fucking thing. So that's going to be a big goal for, when was it? June?
Yeah, 13th of June.
Yeah, so that's going to be a big, big grind right there, telling you already. So the entirety of Twitch is going to be cluttered with the ZrT Cup, for sure. But yeah, I'm mentally prepared for it. Now that I did Grand League, which is a bit of a teaser to ZrT Cup, because I think for the ZrT Cup, more people are going to compete, obviously. The competition is going to be more stacked, and you need to put, I think, more practice into the maps than for Grand League. But I'm mentally prepared. I told myself I'm going to play already last year, because I was already planning on changing my approach for 2020 even before I joined Nordavind, before I played the Grand League, before I even got the opportunity. So I was kind of planning on doing that already. And now that everything is sealed with Nordavind, I have a team that backs me up. I have everything that I have as well. So I'm prepared and I'm going to play.
But you say that maybe Trackmania Grand League is more like a warm-up thing, and that's just speaks numbers of how big this ZrT Cup this year is going to be. Do you think that maybe this edition of the ZrT Cup is going to be the most stacked ever and potentially the biggest cup we've ever seen in Trackmania?
I think so. Yeah, I'm expecting it. Because the hype is big. Zerator said it might be the last one, so I think that brings extra people into it. But yeah, it will be extremely big number-wise as well. Number-wise, his casts or his cups have always grown with every year, with every edition. I do not expect any less this year, that's for sure. So we might even break through the 100k barrier on Twitch this time around. I wouldn't be surprised. Last time, I think it was already 90k or something around that for his stream. I don't know if... Do you know how much it was?
It didn't break 100, but I believe it was 90k, yeah.
Yeah, 90k. So I'm pretty sure we're going to break the 6-digit barrier this year. So I'm expecting a big growth. Also, maybe for me as a streamer, it's also a reason. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm also going to play Zerator Cup to improve my numbers on stream. Like, it might sound weird, and some people might not admit it. Some other streamers might not admit it, but I do admit it. I will play for the numbers as well. Because it is helpful, for sure. Helpful to grow yourself as a brand, as a player, as a member of an organization that also wants you to do this. So yeah, I will expect a lot from this, and also from myself too. I will try my best in the Zerator Cup, and the goal will be to qualify. No matter what, no matter who plays, no matter what format, I will try to qualify.
Oh damn! Imagine the scenes, you playing in front of 15,000 people in Paris. That's
hell yeah,
massive.
dude! Hell yeah! Fucking sick! Yeah.
I already heard that you are or you and a group has booked tickets. So if you don't qualify, will you go then to watch it as a like a fan, or will you attend?
Yeah.
Then?
Yeah, I will attend. I have my tickets. You actually knew about it. That's interesting.
I knew everything. I know everything in this game.
Oh boy! Oh boy! What color of underwear do I wear right now?
You don't have any underwear on.
Ooh, that is correct. No, but jokes aside, yeah, I'm going with some friends. We planned that out already. So if I don't qualify, then I will be there anyway, because I think this is a show that nobody should miss out on, especially if it's the last one. I kind of don't think it's the last one, though. He can't stop, dude. There's no way he's going to stop. But if he does, then I will at least look back at it and be like, yes, I was part of the last one, just as a spectator, hopefully as a player. But yeah, I'll see you there for sure.
Yeah, and but talking about that and talking about events in 2020, we have one event coming up before, and that's a popular event already with the Gamers Assembly. Are you planning on attending that? And if so, what style will you play? Will you play Dirt, Full Speed, or Tech?
I'll play Full Speed, of course. Oh. I mean, I got 7th in the TTC last time. I'm gonna play Full Speed. Now, I will, of course, opt for Dirt. However, I'm not registered yet because I'm talking to Nordavind at the moment if they want me there in first place. The prize pool is a bit slim this year, which is a bit of a downer, I think. It's only €700 for Dirt. So obviously, as an org, you need to see if it's worth to send your player there. That is, I think, understandable. So if they want me there, I'll be there 100% for Dirt. If not, then yeah. I guess that's unlucky, but maybe next year.
But are you surprised to see how full or how fast the Tech and the Full Speed got signed up, and how full they got in under 2 hours for both tournaments?
I'm surprised about Full Speed, actually. Yeah, Tech, no surprise. I thought it was obvious, but Full Speed really surprised me. It's really nice to see this really solid Full Speed community behind the LANs as well. We do see the online tournaments, they are being played a lot, they're being enjoyed a lot, especially the Full Speed League seemed to be a really, really sick concept. So shoutouts to the organizers, by the way. That was a really sick format. But yeah, seems like Full Speed is not dead. And it's nice to see that the interest for LAN is just as big as for online competitions. So yeah, it's a surprise for sure, because I think last time it was not like this. Last year for Full Speed, I'm not sure if it went that full that fast. But yeah, it's cool. Definitely. Full Speed, I think, is a very underrated style, in my opinion. It's a really cool style to watch. Really exciting. Also, some people wrote that. I uploaded the cast of the grand final of the Full Speed League, and people were like, holy shit, that's some really, really mint racing. And I agree, it's really good. It's fucking fantastic to watch and also fun to play. Even though I'm not the greatest at it, I'm really enjoying Full Speed. So it's nice to see that it still receives some love. I think ZrT is the underdog in the Gamers Assembly right now. I think there are still slots available.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope I can snack myself one if Nordavind is fine with that. Because I want to play. Because I like ZrT and I like to travel, actually. I really, really like to travel, see some places. Even though I've been to Gamers Assembly already, it's going to be the same place, but I like to travel. I like to have some fun with fellow Trackmaniacs and maybe give that one or other autograph on people's butt cheeks. But yeah, if it doesn't work out, I won't be too sad about it because the big things, Zerator Cup, Grand League, they will already wear me out a lot. So I'll also take a break if if possible.
But it's 5 years since you claimed those 2 titles at Gamers Assembly, right? So it's time to come back, right?
5 years, holy crap! Yeah, it was 5 years.
Yep.
Jesus. Yeah, I gotta come back and maybe do some damage for ZrT, for sure.
But talking about traveling, you are part of a Norwegian org. I'm from Norway, so when will we see you coming to Norway and maybe doing some promotion for Nordavind here in Norway?
Yeah, that's a good one. I hope as fast as possible. I really want to visit Norway. I love the country, but yeah, we'll see if I will be given an opportunity with Nordavind. Maybe something is gonna happen. Maybe there's gonna be a big Norwegian LAN at some point. We don't know. So yeah, I'll hope. I hope I'll be there at some point for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Bergie will fix something. He will need to come up with the gathering again,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, that would be sick. I mean, if let's say let's pretend that Trackmania is going to be ultra big all of a sudden, and Nordavind is going to be the biggest org because I win everything. Then I'm sure we're going to have the gathering again, eh?
Yeah.
Just gonna bring in the numbers. So it's a bit of work to do, but maybe it's gonna work.
Yeah, it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
Definitely not, man.
Okay,
Especially with Bergie being such a persuasive person. Yeah, he's convincing. I gotta talk with the proper people. Maybe he can fix something.
Yeah, he will. But last question for me, and that's an overall question. How do you see yourself in the future of Trackmania and the future in life? I have spoken a little bit about it, that I feel like the generation of players now is at the point where they maybe have to choose if they want to go future in gaming or have to go for maybe a real-time job. How do you see your future in Trackmania, and how long do you think that you will stay around in Trackmania?
Yeah, that's actually a nice topic to talk about because you're right. A lot of people are affected by that. A lot of players in the top scene are affected by that right now. If you take a look at the Grand League, for example, where all of those top players are, we're all almost the same age. So we kind of need to make a decision, right? We need to see, is Trackmania still worth investing time into? Or should we maybe start to treat it more as a side thing and focus on real life, focus on a real job, focus on studies, focus on whatever? I, for myself, have made that decision, at least for 2020. I will focus full-time on Trackmania because I have luckily been given the opportunity to delay my bachelor thesis. So that's good. I've been talking to my prof and basically told him that I've been given this opportunity with what I do, with the riolu brand that I built up, with the Trackmania Grand League, with the hopefully bright future of the game. And yeah, for 2020, I told myself I will fully focus on the game. If it works out, I will continue. If not, then we might have to make a decision, because I think other people might be in the same boat. Definitely a hard time for sure. It's a life decision. You can't take that. You can't do that just like this. You need to really think about it thoroughly. But I did, at least for 2020. As I said, 2020 is sealed. Nothing will change anymore. For 2021, we'll see if Trackmania is growing. That's like the most important thing. If Trackmania is growing, if my stream is growing, and what I do is growing, I will continue. Because the way I do it right now, it works. I can make a living out of it, so that's good. But it's a business that changes over time very fast, the gaming industry, and content creation and everything that goes hand in hand. The internet is such a fast moving business, and everything goes hand in hand. So if Trackmania loses interest, the stream might lose interest, and I will not pay my bills and I will die. So that's basically you need to be aware of these happenings all the time. You need to look at it as a business. It's not only a game anymore, at least not for me. It might be for others, but I think for the majority of players who have a name, it is a business, and it is a bit of a job as well. So if a job is not sustainable, if what you do is not sustainable, there's no point in doing it. If you can't pay your bills, it's not working. It can work when you're 15, yeah? If you're someone like Gwen, doesn't matter. You can still play the game, have fun. That's fine. But if you're someone who's a bit older now, if you're someone like me, Spam, Kappa, we're all doing something, then you need to make the correct decision, right? You can't just do what you like, but you end up with nothing on the table to eat, for example. It sounds like a harsh example, but it's true, right? It's true. You need to make sure that you can sustain yourself. And if it works with gaming, cool. But if all of a sudden it doesn't work, if the tendency goes to the shit, then you need to jump off the boat. And yeah, that's something that you might see some people do at some point. I mean, not everyone will be around for the next 20 years. Like, everyone will stop at some point, even me. So yeah, at some point it will happen. But for 2020, for me, it won't happen. For sure. 2021, we'll see. But probably not.
Yeah, but that's
Let's
something I also debate with myself. If, let's say that if you continue in the game for, let's say, 10 years of time and the game doesn't pop off, so you're basically, at the moment now, heading down a dead end. Or let's say that if you stop by 2021 and in 2022 the game has blown up and then maybe you have missed out on opportunity, what would you feel the most, I don't know, sad about? Would you feel the most sad if you continue with the game and it never pops up, so you're basically using time for quote-unquote nothing? Or leaving the game and then the game blows up and you have missed opportunity where you had a head start?
Oh, that's a tricky question, man. Of course, both scenarios are kind of unfortunate, right? Because let's say you leave and the game pops off, then damn, I could have been at the top. But on the other hand, in that scenario, you at least have something safe in your hands, right? You leave the game and you might have a proper job, which you're not going to lose in a year. Then you can at least be happy about the situation you're in. You can be happy that you have something in your hands, right? But if you stay in the game and it's not going anywhere, then I think that's more sad, actually. That's more sad because you invest time, not necessarily into nothing. You still do something that you like.
Yeah.
But you're not doing something that you can live from. And you maybe have to adjust your life a lot in order to be able to sustain your life. So you have to play and have a job and whatever responsibilities you might have outside of that. So I think having something solid in your hands, let it be a study or a job or whatever, I think that's important to have. And you might take it as a life lesson if you're maybe a younger the podcast. Gotta think about it at some point. You can't always have fun. You gotta also think about the future, maybe plan ahead a bit. And that's the situation that I've been in. And that's what made me make this decision that I talked about. I know from other people, I'm not gonna, talk about that because it might be a bit private, but I know that other players have been in the same boat, contemplating to quit or to continue. That's completely understandable. We're all getting older. We all need to see where the fuck we're going with our lives. And playing games all life is certainly not working. That's for sure. But yeah, being in the business could work. Esport is always growing, so even if you're not playing, you can always have something in esport. You can be a manager. You can put up your own org. I mean, look at Ocelot, for example. He was a player, now he has G2. So you can make your meme dream come true. That's how it is. But you gotta be cautious of the environment, and you gotta be cautious of the development, the entire scene. Not look in your bubble, but also look outside of the bubble and maybe seek for other opportunities and maybe switch, do something else. It's certainly worth looking outside the box for sure.
Some wise words there, and once again, thanks for doing this podcast. It's been a pleasure once again. But do you have any final words now that Anything that you have left out for the 4 podcasts that we have done now, and I assume like 4 hours in total?
Yeah, that's been crazy. Actually, not much I want to talk about. I'm hoping that you enjoyed the Grand League. I know it's a bit of a, contradictive format still, with the point system and with the orgs and with this and with that. I know it's a bit contradictive, but as someone who is behind the scenes, like I'm a player and I know what's going on. I think they're trying very hard to make it good, like learn from their mistakes. We do give feedback as a player, for example. Softy asking us, what do you like about the Grand League? What did you like? What's bad? What's good? You know? So they're listening to feedback, and even if some things might be a bit weird, I think you should give them some time, because for Nadeo, it's still early. It's their first official season. They had a beta season and now the first one. So I think giving them time, of course, not endless amount of time. I do agree that patience is something not everyone has, that you shouldn't bring endless amount of patience. At some point, the patience is over, obviously. But I think the Grand League is on a good way, and I hope you enjoyed it so far. Thank you for supporting me as well. I always saw a full bar of hearts in the scoreboard in the steps. It was always riolu with 8 hearts. So that was really, really helpful as well. So thank you everyone for supporting. And I hope I will meet you fucker in Lyon.
That's for sure. From pre-interviews, some post-interviews, and maybe a winning interview as well, right?
Let's see, dude. Let's see. Gonna try my best.
But that's it. You will see riolu playing in Lyon, both the Trackmania Grand League and the LS 2020 event, and I will be there to cover both events. So don't be surprised if riolu pops up on this channel once again, and maybe on Twitter as well, right?
Maybe.
That's it. Thank you, man, for stepping up once again.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.